Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of UPS CSI Student Chapter, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the virtual cyber hygiene training program conducted as part of a national public interest initiative by DPBC, Data Privacy Bharat Center, in association with the World Cyber Security Forum. In today's hyper-connected digital world, cybersecurity is no longer optional. It is essential. As students, we are constantly engaging with digital platforms, making cyber hygiene and digital safety awareness extremely important. We are truly honored to host this impactful session today. Before we proceed further, let me briefly introduce the purpose of this initiative and the organization behind it. This session is part of a nationwide awareness campaign aiming to train students across 100 plus colleges in India this year, focusing on cyber hygiene basics, online fraud awareness, password safety, social media risks, personal data protection, reporting cyber incidents. Data Privacy Bharat Center is a public interest initiative of the Ketas Education Foundation, a non-profit organization in collaboration with the World Cyber Security Forum. DPBC works towards building awareness, knowledge, and practical capacity around data privacy, digital rights, and responsible use of personal data in India. As India becomes increasingly digital, individuals and institutions must understand how personal data is collected, used, shared, and protected. DPBC exists to make this understanding accessible, practical, and inclusive so that privacy and digital trust becomes part of everyday decision making. We at UPS CSI Student Chapter are proud to collaborate in bringing this opportunity to our student community. And now, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Ms. Sugandha Sharma, Faculty Coordinator of UPS CSI. Her mentorship and continuous support have been the backbone of many successful within the chapter. We sincerely appreciate her guidance in making events like this possible. Ma'am, may I request you to kindly address the gathering?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Arnav. A very good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of UPS CSI Student Chapter, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the virtual Cyber Hygiene Awareness Conclave, organized in collaboration with the Data Privacy Bharat Center and School of Computer Science, UPES. So, in today's rapidly evolving digital era, cyber hygiene is no longer optional, but it is essential for everyone. As students, professionals, and digital citizens, we are constantly interacting with technology. We are constantly sharing data. We are building our digital identities. So, understanding how to protect ourselves, our information, and our communities online, it has become both a personal and a professional responsibility. So, we are truly honored to have with us today Professor Dr. Nachiketa Mittal, Registrar and Professor at National Law University, Tripura. Sir's expertise in legal frameworks and digital governance will provide us with invaluable insights into the Information Technology Act, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, and the broader legal and ethical dimensions of cyber conduct in India. We are equally delighted to welcome and thank Paki Garg, who's heading World Cyber Security Forum, who's a good friend of mine and very, very active data privacy and cyber law trainer. Participants, today's session will not only help us understand the legal foundations of cybersecurity, but will also shed light on, the practical aspects such as digital footprint responsibility, student-specific cyber risks, online fraud awareness, reporting mechanisms like the helpline numbers and the role of national bodies, that will assist us in combating such cyber risks. I encourage all the participants to actively engage in the session, reflect on your own digital practices, and make the most of this opportunity to learn from an expert in the field. Before we begin, I would also like to thank our organizing team and faculty members for their continuous support in making this event possible. With that, I once again extend a very, very warm welcome to our esteemed speaker and to all the participants. Thank you, and I look forward to a highly insightful session.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, it is my distinct honor to introduce our esteemed speaker, Professor Nachiketa Mittal. He is the founding professor and registrar of National Law University Tripura and serves as director of the Center of Excellence of Artificial Intelligence and Data Governance. Professor Mittal has previously served at the Supreme Court of India as assistant registrar and has been associated with several leading law institutions in India and abroad. An accomplished academic, mediator, and thought leader, he has contributed extensively to the field of data privacy, governance, and access to justice. We are truly privileged to have him with us today. Sir, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Sugandha and Arnav. Hi, everyone. Good morning. In fact, good afternoon. Happy to connect with you all virtually here today on this virtual platform. And on behalf of my colleagues at Data Privacy Bharat Center, Maki, the co-founder of DPBC, along with Kita's Education Foundation and World Cybersecurity Forum. It's always delightful to speak with students in regular classes, but which I do when I address the law students. But the entire context sometimes changes, and I'm sure we probably will have an engaging discussion because I understand a lot of you here today are from the probably computer science and other disciplines. So thank you, UPES, School of Computer Science, also for hosting us for this session today. I'm sure, friends, all of you will agree. A lot of you may also be in general aware about how we all are getting engulfed, cornered from all sides by rising menace of cybercrimes in online spaces. But you must be wondering that, okay, fine, we keep viewing advertisements which are run by different government agencies, some private corporations like banks, some insurance companies, some other manufacturing companies, and so on and so forth, with regard to various kinds of cyber alerts, crimes, which can probably lead to financial frauds. We may lose out money, right? Things like that. Then why is this session so relevant, and why and what will a law professor do here? I mean, this ideally could be information shared by anybody else, right? You all may agree with that. Is there anybody here among the students who is from law? By any chance, raise your hand. Arnav, how many are there from computer science?
Sir, mostly everybody is from computer science.
Mostly, great. So that's why I asked that. You may be wondering, no, why this session is required. Dr. Sugandha could also do it in terms of generally taking you through about cyber hygiene. What will law professor do? And why should you really listen to a law professor? And why is that element of law necessary here? Friends, before we come to the cyber hygiene most technical part, in the meantime, I'll update my presentation slide here so that you can also see that. Is it visible now to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Arnav? Dr. Sugandha?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Great. Okay.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So friends, see, I come in here as a law professor for a reason. You are not law professionals, but you must know there's nothing in a human life and transactions we do, as long as we are on this planet, that is out of the clutches of law. There's nothing which is out of the clutches of law. Why I say this rightfully? When we were taking birth, you and I, all of us, even then the law was protecting us. You all might have heard about something called as female feticide, PCP and DT Act. So even before we take birth, There's law which comes to our safeguard, protecting even us in the womb of a mother. And so much so, even the day we will say goodbye to the planet, we all will have still a non-negotiable right of being cremated or buried with dignity, right? So you imagine the length and breadth of law covers us entirely. So if this is how law really is safeguarding us, then how can any transaction that we would do during a lifetime will be out of the clutches of law? So the answer is that law will be always there safeguarding you. And if, yes, we do something which is beyond a particular permissible limit, then we have to face what we say in law or music of law. All right. Now, friends, the reason is why these online frauds and why this discussion is required from a law perspective is because, to tell you, law prescribes something as minimum code of conduct. Any human conduct which is going to fall below a threshold attracts legal penalties. And that's where we have to view that which are those actions, conducts of any individuals, third parties, which are affecting our interest because they fall below a threshold prescribed under law, and hence they constitute to be an offense. In the online space, the offenses multiply faster than you and I can imagine. If we have a pickpocketer in a vicinity, we can probably easily identify and catch a person. We would probably know what's happening around. In the online space, the problem is we do not often realize what's happening. Where's the leakage, right? If somebody does a pickpocketing, we understand there's a leakage of money. Kahin paisa kahin to gira hai, right? Somebody has pickpocketed. We have lost a wallet. Something has happened. But in the online, the problem is that we are so busy in our lives, we hardly keep a track. So many messages we receive, right? We engage with so many vendors from Zomato to Swiggy to transactions, even at a basic chai ka stall with a QR code these days, even auto rickshaw, wherever you go, we use QR codes, right? And then if you see our bank statements, they're filled up with transactions like anything. How many of us actually go through that entire list at the end of the month or whenever the statement is generated to check that how many transactions we did, which in terms of verification? We hardly do that, right? Because इतने सारे transactions हो जाते हैं, unlike the earlier times जहाँ पहले शायद ATM से भी पैसा withdraw करते थे, but before the QR code and UPI came in, right? So we at best would use, okay, fine, credit cards, and then still there was some limit to it, right? We would not for every transaction use credit card or a debit card. We would use even currency notes and cash. But now if these statements are filled with 5 rupee, 10 rupee, 20 rupee, 30 rupee, I mean, the transactions go on, right? Then in that stack of so much of transaction, where will you find a needle of any money being lost? Unless that multiplies and in one go the money side gets taken off your account. That's where we have to, friends, look at the legal framework for cyber conduct. We are broadly governed by these three kind of frameworks in terms of how the law operates, right? You might have, I mean, since you're computer science students, you may, in general, I think in some departments they teach IT Act, at least to orient the students, right? So Information Technology Act, that's called, which is now good 26 years old, also underwent amendment. But the basic premise of this law is to regulate, recognize and regulate all kind of transactions which take place through or by means of electronic data, basically, right? And or which leads to that kind of entire electronic commerce also. In doing so, what this law actually offers is different kind of operational definitions. These operational definitions may really not be immediately of any use to a computer science student. But what is necessary for you to know is, from a legal standpoint, that this law provides certain kind of wrongdoings which may attract some fine, monetary fine, and certain kind of wrongdoings which may attract even imprisonment. All right. So to also tell you people who are not from law, see, we in law have two types of penalties. One is civil, which is generally the monetary fines, and the other one is criminal. So whenever there's something which is not going a particular threshold of affecting society at large in such a form that it creates a menace, right? So then the civil penalties generally work and some fine is prescribed. Now, in order to look at this, we have to see what kind of things are taken care of in IT Act. For example, failure to furnish certain kind of information. Hmm. If I can draw your attention, and I will not take you through too much of law because I know you're not law professionals, but still, for the sense of giving you a perspective, from section 43 onwards, under chapter 9 of the IT Act, you will find these kind of provisions where penalties, compensation is prescribed. And these are prescribed for certain kind of wrongdoings. For example, if I read one line for you, if any person without permission of the owner or any other person who is in charge of a computer or computer system or computer network accesses or secures access to such computer, downloads, copies, or extracts any data, computer data, introduces or causes to be introduced any computer containment or computer virus, damages or causes to be damaged by computer system, and so on and so forth, disrupts or causes disruption of any computer, denies or causes denial of any access to any person authorized to access such computer, provides any assistance to any person to facilitate access to computer in contravention of the provisions of the Act, charges the services availed of any person to the amount of another person by tampering and manipulating any computer, and so on and so forth, then this particular provision and the allied provisions of law come into action. Why I gave you this as one of the first examples is because you all are computer science students. You will understand this most appropriately, that how people begin to use computer systems, desktops, laptops, if somebody is unauthorized, if any data is going to be downloaded without any approvals, if somebody adds any virus, contaminates, then how will you be able to function? Right? You all probably, some of you at least, maybe computer scientists tomorrow, or maybe software engineers tomorrow. So you would understand that what's a big deal about it, that yes, there is so much of a big deal about it. Now, once you know this, until now, I may think or believe or presume you probably weren't aware. Oh, we have a law to protect us. The answer is yes. You have a law to protect and safeguard you, your interest, whenever you are working in as a computer science person, right? So the idea was to give you a very simple perspective, write something which is deeply embedded, entrenched into your work, that आपका काम अगर कंप्यूटर सिस्टम से ऑपरेट होता है, टेक्नोलॉजी से ऑपरेट होता है, so technology law, the IT law is there to protect you, safeguard your interest in every sense of it, right? I hope, Arnav, are you also a computer science student?
Yes, sir.
Right? So I hope this example, you and your friends, your across all batches will be able to understand. Correct? I'm
Yes,
asking
sir.
you because
Yes,
you're
sir.
somebody I know that you can probably at least speak and verify what I'm asking, right?
Thank you.
All right, right. So see, this is how you need to understand that what law is applicable for you. We have 1 hour, friends, so that's why I cannot be loading you too much of law. Okay. Another limb, we call it limb, we call it part. Another part of this law is chapter 11, if you see. Now that talks about different kind of offenses. In the earlier part that I read, chapter 9, there are many more aspects, but we will cover that. Dr. Sugandha, we can have exclusive session to deal in detail. For example, friends, with regard to tampering computer source documents. For example, I'll read out to you. Whoever knowingly or intentionally conceals, destroys, or alters, or intentionally or knowingly causes another to conceal, destroy, or alter any computer source code used for a computer program, computer system, computer network, when the computer source code is required to be kept, maintained by law for the time being, shall be punishable with imprisonment up to 3 years or with fine which may extend up to 2 lakhs rupees. Right? Arnav, I believe I don't need to explain to anybody what is computer source code. That's one of the basic things you all read as part of your computer science courses, correct? But
Yes,
you all
sir.
may
We all
probably
are aware.
understand that I am talking about the tempering. I'm sure you must have also discussed in some of your classes in computer science that if a source code gets tempered, how it will affect. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right? So you understand that you might have seen it only from a perspective that, okay, tempering ho jayega to kya nuksan hoga. But the law protects your interest. If you, for example, tomorrow go and join some bigger companies, right? So do you think that they will be able to operate without safeguarding themselves? Right? They sit on millions of people's data, right? They're giving all these services. We are operating with the Microsoft Teams here, right? I use Microsoft for the presentation, right? If the source codes get corrupted or tampered with, what will happen to the businesses? Who will have a liability? If somebody who is a software engineer or programmer or coder has probably got influenced, has done that kind of probably a damage, right? Will you be held liable? Will there be thorough investigation? The answer is yes. Right? Then that's exactly when you will have the first time to face what is called as IT Act of India, if it's a jurisdiction of India. Right? Similarly, every country has counterparts kind of laws or corresponding laws, as they call it. Right? That's how you should understand that your work is not something which is immune from law. Your work in today's times of technology actually cuts through law, or rather, law cuts through your work in every sense, right? So you are very important people, all computer scientists out here, right? Without you, India, even the India AI Summit would not have been possible. Nobody can imagine technology boost and rising and all kind of new innovations without your support. But you must understand, for the sense of your sensitization, remaining within the bounds of law, honoring the law, and also maintaining dignity, ethics of your work, that legal framework is there, both to protect you and in case you go astray, then to punish. All right? So that's how this perspective was very much important, and I'm sure you all may appreciate this very small bit. Dr. Sugandha, I hope your students will be able to appreciate that why the law is required for computer science students.
Absolutely, sir. Let me also share that we do have a specialization in, BTech in cyber law as well at UPES.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Right. And
So, yes, and especially, we are working in this digital age wherein deep fake and the cyber frauds are on a big rise. And even in the universities, we are coming across such cases where revenge या उसमें कहीं ना कहीं students are morphing photographs and so on, right? So we were never prepared for this before, right?
Right.
So I think this is a very, very valuable session, and I hope all the participants have good takeaways from this session.
Right. That's why I'm trying to break it down as much as easy possible, because see, even to teach law in the law classes to students who come to law schools is never that easy, because right, law is very complex, so it has to be broken down into several parts. And anybody who's not from law doesn't really or immediately takes interest. Why should you? Right? If you ask me to take up a session of computer science, unless there's somebody who breaks it into pieces, how will I be able to accept it? All right. So, friends, the latest, the most modern, the law that we have in India is with regard to Digital Personal Data Protection Act, DPDP Act. It's a law which has again come after a lot of struggle of different stakeholders, from legal fraternity, from industry, even from IT industry, from different scholars who back and forth fought for this law and got it passed finally in 2023 in India. Now, this is again one of the very important laws which rests on also your work. You as coders tomorrow, you as developers of any generative AI or any form of artificial intelligence, LLMs, anything, will have to be trained rigorously for designing systems in such a way that they do not appearingly or visibly lead to any kind of data leakage by virtue of the gaps which may be there at the development stage. And that's where this law becomes essential to tell us about our roles, responsibilities, also rights and liabilities. For you and I, merely as citizens, under the same law, we acquire different forms of rights in the name of data principles, that we all are sharing our data with different agencies, government as well as non-governmental agencies, right? And this data could be anything, right? It could be your mobile number, your name, your age, your parents' details, your address, your blood group, your passport details, your Aadhaar card, anything, right? And all of this data probably, if it's not kept safe, if it exchanges hands without your authorization, what will happen? Right? A smallest example. We may do any shopping online these days, or even on any store. Generally, people ask, even at the store, आपका mobile number दे दीजिए. किस लिए mobile number दे दीजिए? So that they can send a bill. Right? Okay. Sometimes we think fine. And then they give us a lot of attraction. They attract us in the name of sometimes that, okay, there is some reward points going on. If you keep doing shopping, for example, especially the grocery stores, right? If you are going to continue, you every month you will come and do some shopping. No? राशन तो घर का लाओगे, तो कुछ ना कुछ points accumulate होंगे. Now what will happen out of that? Okay, we will give you some discount. And your number is registered in their network. Now, are you sure that your number is not going to exchange hands? And this law brings to all of us some of the very interesting rights. I'll just switch a slide. This one, right? One of the very important rights of consent and legitimate use. That why did you sign up for sharing of the information of mobile number in the first place? right? Or why did you sign up for sharing of your address in the first place, right? What was the necessity? You signed up by virtue of your own consent. The answer is yes. Did you authorize that agency, that vendor, that store, that e-commerce platform to use this data for everything under the sun? That the way they want, to whomsoever they want, they can send your mobile number, your address, and other details. Or they can also use it repeatedly for sending you promotional phone calls, emails, whatever they think is right. Right? So you need to understand that this law, especially for all of us as citizens, not merely for you as computer science professionals, for me as a law professional, no. For all of us also at the very basic stage as the citizens, this law is offering us a lot of safeguards in terms of how, why, and when, in which form should we be giving our data. All right. And once we do that, is it that our hands are tied? We can do nothing thereafter? Then again, the law comes and protects us. Because some of you who may have a little critical thought or critical analytical thought में से अरे हमने एक बार डेटा दे दिया प्रोफेसर मित्तल उसके बाद क्या अब हम क्या कुछ कर नहीं सकते हैं बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं that is this law gives you that kind of those kind of rights as data principles. If you want, you can unsubscribe. अगर आप देखेंगे ईमेल में ऑप्शन आता है ना बहुत सारे ई कॉमर्स प्लेटफॉर्म से unsubscribe, right? You have that right. Similarly, under this law, you have a right. If you want, you can write that fine, delete my number. I don't want my number to be in your account anymore. I don't want to hear from you anymore. Right? So you have that kind of right which flows from this kind of law. Right? At the same time, it creates what is called as positive obligation, we say under law, on data fiduciary. Now, who are data fiduciary? Anybody who is having a repository of your data, my data as a data fiduciary. Right? So much so, even UPS as a university, my university in NLU, in Tripura, or any law firm we work in, any private company we work in, we all are data fiduciaries in that sense, right? As body corporates. So where will the buck stop? Buck will stop at data fiduciary. Who is going to be liable if anything is leaked? If our data is compromised, it is these data fiduciaries who are going to be liable. Right? How? The law says under the law. Right? So these are some of the very basic things which I thought you should know as an overview, that the law may sound and appearingly to be complex, but is offering to all of us so much of bandwidth to understand that we have several legal rights flowing from it. We can safeguard ourselves and also maintain a cyber hygiene so that our life is much safer in a digital space. Not only that we may keep a security or hire a security agency in the apartment we live in, right? But these days, our money, we don't keep cash, right? With me it happens, I'm sure some of you may agree, with you may also it may happen that sometimes the internet is not working and you're stuck with the transaction of UPI QR code also, right? Or transaction doesn't get through, and then you dig into your pocket and you say अरे cash तो है नहीं because आजकल तो ATM से withdraw हम करते ही नहीं है, right? But by the time you again see your account, from the account the money is gone and probably is gone somewhere else which where it was not intended to go, right? That's financial fraud. So we wanted to keep a security. हो सकता है 1 लाख रुपए घर पे रखा हो, वहां पे बाहर सिक्योरिटी भी खड़ा हो और 2 लाख रुपए अकाउंट में हो, अकाउंट वाला पैसा गायब, 1 लाख रुपए जो घर पे वो तो है, right? So you understand the security keeping these days in the physical form is not the only concern, but we must also be conscious of safeguarding ourselves with regard to the online money that we keep in our accounts and everything, right? So I am sure that will be quite helpful for all of you. Then in the legal framework, friends, the last element is all about different other sectoral guidelines are there, which keep coming in, for example, from RBI also, right? Then Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and also Bharatiya Nagrik Sanhita, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, the BNS, which was before this called as, you must have most famously heard of IPC, Indian Penal Code, which is now called as Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, right? Or in that sense, these laws also provide for different kind of punishments for the offenses which may cut through the use of technology and may lead to even harassing somebody through online usage of messaging, phone calls, so on and so forth. Right. So all of these are necessary for computer science students, also the citizens of the country, so that you are not somebody who would walk out tomorrow of a university or a college as a professional also. Right. You should be able to get a grasp of these vocabularies, terminologies when you speak, right? As a computer science professional, even if you are going to appear for an interview, job campus interview tomorrow, some of you, a few of you who may be in the final semester, right, or the final year, if tomorrow you appear for a job interview, if you start using, little more sense of a legal framework in the answers you give in, I'm sure the companies that will be on a lookout to hire you, they will really be super impressed. One, it will speak very highly of the university UPES, which has trained you, your alma mater, also of you as an individual, as a candidate, that you do not know only your work, you also understand the ethical part of it, which flows from a legal framework, and you are conscious of it, right? So that will distinguish you, give you an extra cutting edge to compete even in an interview process. See, I am a professor, so Dr. Sugandha, you will understand. I mean, anything that we teach, we always link it from your job perspective also, because at the end of the day, for any professor, and what matters to us, whatever we're teaching, should be used from an employment perspective to enhance your employability as well. It should not merely have some theoretical understanding, right? And it depends on you how you use these kind of things, knowledge, the small inputs, capsules, wherever you speak, even at the time of interview. Okay, so I'll quickly run through some of the important areas. Anav, I hope since you are a computer science student, that I will rest on your input, that you as computer science student is able to understand. So I will believe that probably your friends must also be able to understand.
Yes, sir. I think they
Hmm.
can.
Or some of you, you can just ask them. They can type in the chat box if that's fine. All right. Now, friends, one of the important sub themes for the session was also that, are there some kind of cyber risk or online frauds which are student specific? Uh, we can say that. See, technically, cyber fraud affects everyone without seeing who you are, without seeing sometimes even a gender or even an age group, right? But yes, why this student thing has been kept as part of the session? Because see, at your in the age group of students, when we are in the college and university, to be honest, we may like it or not, we're a little more casual and reckless. In the sense that that time we are sort of superhuman beings with super talent, we believe, right? Nothing can affect us, right? So we are duly protected, right? So, but we often forget that in the operations of excitement, enthusiasm, there are a lot of things we happen to these days click through mobile, tablets, desktops, laptops, either through opening of emails or through SMS or WhatsApp or anything, or social media. And that's where the cyber risks, online frauds are actually hiding in corners, wanting somebody to come online on a social media platform, be little reckless, be less attentive, and we can trap, right? So all kind of phishing, which is done via emails and messages, basically trying to trick users to reveal their sensitive information like your credit card numbers, right? Or like your OTPs. Now, what is this being used for? Nothing but to extract money, right? See, the online chori or online fraud is not like a regular fraud that we have in our neighborhood. कि घर में somebody got into वो टीवी उठा के ले गया, अरे फ्रिज उठा के ले गया, फ्रिज की चोरी हो गई. Right? These days those things don't happen much. They may happen, but not on such a, what do you say, such a rate, that alarming rate, right? You may not hear that very often these days, right? That घरों में इतनी चोरी हुई, सामान उठा के ले गए. Right? Now it's a new age crime. So the new age crime, it's done very sophisticatedly. And everyone is busy. You as students, you are under too much of pressure to study. You are under too much of pressure to also get a job. You are also under a lot of influence to get new certifications, new diplomas, right? From foreign degrees, from foreign universities. Now all of this comes together as a trap for a student, because everyone who is operating as a cyber professional criminal knows which is a weak nerve. So these days, friends, a lot of crimes in the cyberspace actually are based on exploitation of our emotions, our soft side, right? And for the students, that's why this is most important to know, because given your age group and the pressure that the students face in universities, colleges, these days is more about getting trapped. Now, what? For example, if you wanted a job, you may send out resume to different platforms. Now, often in the resume, we put our phone number also, email also, right? Sometimes address also. Sometimes I've seen some resumes, I don't know why, but the students write parents' names also, right? Now we give out so much of details and on different platforms. Again, the same thing. We don't know whether those platforms have kept your all this information very safe or not. They might have sold it over to third parties. And then you start getting receiving these calls and emails. Then, oh, you applied on such and such platform. You will be surprised that yes, I applied. Right. And now they already know you applied on such platform because they got your data. Okay, so we're calling from you have been shortlisted. And in order to shortlist you, after that, there's one small fee for that. And this is the package. And you are already under too much of influence because you know your batchmate, your roommate, your friends, your senior, immediate senior, right? They got a job somewhere. And you are under pressure from home, from your peers, friends, that you must also get a job immediately, right? So they give you that kind of uh, rosy picture of so much so package. Okay, fine. You don't mind paying a small buck. You may say, they may say, oh, we will fine tune your CV because we are an agency. Your resume, CV will be further fine tuned and we will help you secure a job and we will also train you for the interview. So this is a small fee. You also don't mind. ठीक है, हमने apply तो कर ही दिया है. चलो, let me pay a small amount, right? And in doing that, in that process, then they trap you. So that's why it becomes very much relevant for students that you must be aware where are you submitting your CV details, everything. Do not fall for fake job offers. Do not fall for fake degrees, diplomas. Always verify these details so that you are not somebody who actually wanted a job but ended up paying them some money, right? So that's how you should look at it. Similarly, social media. These traps also come through social media because again, as I said, in your CV and resume, sometimes we also mention our LinkedIn ID these days. That, oh, you can approach me, recruiter can approach me on LinkedIn, right? Now, once you hand over your LinkedIn ID to them via through these platforms, they know you now. They can study anything about you, right? So these things have to be slightly taken care of. All right. I've also put in here a national cybercrime helpline number for anybody to use it. So that will be helpful, I believe. Okay. If I move forward, I have here produced I'll send
Dr.
out.
Mittal, sorry for the interruption, but your screen is not visible. We cannot see any slides.
Now can you see?
No,
No?
no.
Why not? Can somebody should have told me then. No problem. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes.
All right. Oh, I was here. This was not visible earlier? Okay, no problem. Okay, somebody should have told. Well, so friends, I hope this you can now see. I was talking about these student-specific cyber crimes and online frauds. And this is where I wanted to take you here. I have here in an easy form. I'll send Dr. Sugandha all of these slides. Uh, put it for you to quickly go through. Now, my advice would be that, see, you are getting trapped in different kind of cyber crimes. And social media hygiene, how would you be able to understand, right? How often should you change your password? What is the privacy settings? Are you able to often go through those settings and change them? Do you want your information to be visible to everyone? Your photograph, right? Or can you hide it from, except it should be visible to your contacts, right? Who should be able to send you messages, add you to some WhatsApp groups, or even on LinkedIn or Facebook, right? Which kind of groups should you join, or you should avoid, right? What kind of information should you give away on social media platforms? So these handbooks are crafted by the Ministry of Home Affairs, actually, Government of India. So I pulled them out for an easy, quick reference and generated the QR codes of those so that you can scan them and quickly use them. Now, my advice is also, Dr. Sugandha, what could be done is this can be converted into some sort of a flyer or a pamphlet or a poster, right? And since these are the QR codes I've already put in here, and you can post across different departments in UPS. Your department, the students from computer science, you can take this initiative, right? I know UPS has a very famous law school also. Before the law school does it, you should, as a computer science department, do it. You should take this lead initiative. आप कंप्यूटर साइंस डिपार्टमेंट के थ्रू एक पोस्टर बनाइए और लॉ डिपार्टमेंट में जाके उसको पेस्ट कीजिए, राइट? So the law department should know that computer science department is quite aggressive, in terms of all digital safety standards. So that will also distinguish you within your university as students, as a department, right? Okay, coming back to this. So there are different kind of financial frauds which these what you say handbooks are talking about. And idea is that you should not only make yourself aware today, you should go back, share all of this information also with your family members. Because unless they are equally aware, your parents, then we will not be able to build a community which is more safe. And we all will agree, even our parents, not everybody uses mobile phones very safely. They click each and everything that pops up on a mobile phone, right? So that's why it's really important. And you see, the vision of even the government, they have handcrafted one particular, this entire job fraud handbook also. Why? Because they know that the youth of the country is looking ahead for a job, and they're often again trapped into that. Then at your age, because one of the elements, Dr. Sugandha, as you also mentioned, was about student related. Now, it's not exactly student related, but that's where you will head in next few years once you get a job, is matrimony frauds, right? That this is something which is associated with all of us in life, right? That how we are again being offered something very lucratively, and we get trapped, right? So please go through them, and I'm sure you will be able to effectively take a lead within the university setup so that all your departments are safe. One second. Wanted to also run you through something. One second. I hope you can see the website also, friends. This is National Cybercrime Reporting Portal,
Yes.
which so you can also go through these portal on request, take it as a small assignment. Whenever you face any challenge in terms of reporting, you can report, you can see the drop down menu here with regard to women and child related crime, financial frauds, and other cybercrime. When you go to the financial frauds, so you will have this dashboard appearing where you have three main categories. The first category, more importantly, because they consider to be most vulnerable in the society, women and children, but mostly we all suffer from financial frauds and crimes. So please feel free to go through the website, acquaint yourself that how can we file a complaint. Now, why is this necessary? Unless you know how you can file a complaint. If tomorrow, God forbid, something wrong happens, you will be struggling through the same website, right? And in my view, again, I'm saying some of you as the Department of Computer Science should take a lead and train the law department on this or all other departments on this. See, my job as a professor is one session, the content, the input is one part. My job is always also to keep telling students how to be ahead of other students or one department how to be ahead of other department. Right? So you see, filing a complaint on National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. So you need to do what? Prior to filing complaint with this portal, we request you to read the information regarding terms and conditions. Should you have queries prior to filling your complaint, then you have FAQs here, right? You see, the FAQ is also very detailed. It tells you about what kind of abusive material or child sexual exploitative material gets covered, where to file a complaint, which type of cybercrime can I report, right? What kind of information should I give to report a complaint, right? It says that you can report also anonymously. You can report crimes related to online rape or gang rape or content anonymously. There's something, Dr. Sugandha, you mentioned about revenge. And then you mentioned about the pictures the students or the youth takes. To tell you, one of my students in the National Institute in Tripura last year wrote a dissertation, LLM dissertation, on one of the same related areas of revenge porn, right? So this again is a very important area for students, for youth to look at, that we do not exploit our own friends by virtue of any kind of emotional turmoil or breakthrough or breakdown. Because one way or the other, we may actually be committing a crime. And then somebody will be reporting against us, probably on the same platform or the portal, right? So that's what you should remember, that your actions can also attract the same law tomorrow if we are not going to sensitize ourselves, understand the veracity of all of these kind of offenses and also the repercussions it can actually bring. Right? Then what type of information would be considered as evidence? Because you as computer science student or even as a citizen will ask, no, अरे अब मैंने कंप्लेंट कर दिया, अब कैसे मालूम पड़ेगा कि मेरी कंप्लेंट में कोई दम है कि नहीं है, कोई एविडेंस है कि नहीं है, क्या मेरे से कोई एविडेंस मांगेंगे, मेरा पैसा अगर कहीं चला गया मैं कैसे प्रूव करूंगा या करूंगी, राइट? तो यू हैव दिस लिस्ट, राइट, फॉर द फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड्स. आपके क्रेडिट कार्ड का रिसीट होगा, बैंक स्टेटमेंट होगा, अगर कोई ब्रोशर है, कोई ऑनलाइन मनी रिसीट है, कोई ईमेल है, यूआरएल ऑफ वेब पेज है, चैट ट्रांसक्रिप्ट्स है, इमेजेस है, राइट? सो ऑल ऑफ दिस यू नीड टू कीप handy with you, even at the time of filing our complaint or even at a later stage of investigation when somebody approaches you. right? So this will be very much helpful for all of you. Then if you go through the cyber awareness here, right here, from where I pulled out those QR codes. For example, the job frauds. It's barely 5 pages. You can go through these 5 pages very easily. That what does it say? Avoid opportunities on search engine advertisements. Always search and apply for jobs posted on authentic job portals or newspapers. Check privacy policy of job sites. That means again, same thing that I was saying. Who is going to exchange hands of the data you are giving in, right? Don't respond to unsolicited emails. You don't know. You think हाँ शायद मैंने अप्लाई तो किया नहीं था. ये कौन सा जॉब पोर्टल है? Some Sky Job Services, let's say, right? Sky Job Services sounds very lucrative. Right? I don't know. Did I apply? हो सकता है मैंने अप्लाई किया हो, इतनी जगह अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ, फाइनल ईयर में हूँ, जॉब का बड़ा प्रेशर है. Don't fall for that, right? Or sometimes they are uh, this fake offers which are given, right? Visibly understanding or looking like okay, लगता है शायद इसका नाम कुछ ऐसा होगा, शायद गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होगी, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, right? National, let's say national job seekers portal, right? Now you may think oh national नाम लगा है तो शायद हो सकता है तो गवर्नमेंट नहीं खोला होगा, नहीं तो नेशनल नाम के साथ तो कोई प्राइवेट संस्था तो नहीं खोलेगी. And you may apply, you may click, right? So you must be a little careful about these things. Then check for spelling mistakes, some of the very common, easily detectable errors, right? So you may check these. I tell you honestly, and your colleagues, sorry, your faculty may appreciate that point more. For example, Dr. Sugandha, these days we often get emails from UGC for different compliances. I, as a registrar of university, I get those different emails. So I check. For example, recently what happened a few months ago, I got one email appearing to be of UGC, University Grants Commission, and they were asking for some lot of data of students and faculty. Now the email was gmail.com. And I had a little suspicion. I checked up with my senior colleagues and then they also probably did the due diligence. And then we got some message in some administrative groups that, oh, don't honor this email. This appears to be actually fake, right? And then little later, a month later or so, I figured out an email coming from ugc.ac.in in a very authenticated sort of a site, and then I could see different other senior members, other vice chancellors, registrars from other universities also replying and things like that, right? So there's always a way to cross check. So same thing is applicable for you. That please be careful about these things. Okay. So use verified job portals. Now this is again very much important for all of you as the students. उसका कारण क्या है? आपकी दुखती नब्ज है. To be very honest, right? So the attackers know that where to actually pinch you more. Okay. So coming back to this slide, please make use of it. मेरे ख्याल से आपका almost poster का काम इसमें हो ही जाएगा in this slide that I've created. So you can probably use some logo here and there and do a better job with this in terms of creativity. Okay. Then as I showed you one platform already, there are different government initiatives to deal with cyber crimes and frauds. Sanchar Sathi app is there. You can download. Initially, I mean, very recently there was this little controversy discussion, which has we all are divided in terms of our opinions. The government wanted that should the app be inbuilt into our mobile phones, or should we have our own choice of downloading, not downloading, and anything like that. But yes, it's important that we go through these kind of websites and try to check that how we can better safeguard ourselves. Read a little more, because at your level, at your age group, I do not expect that everything has to be only given in a capsule form. You please go and read. Had you been some self-help group women from a village, then the entire lecture would have been slightly more different, right? But I trust that you people will understand the sensitivity of the matter and will also take a lead to ensure what is called as peer-to-peer learning, right? So these are the basic perspectives which I wanted to share with all of you. And then quick takeaways here that because the cyber hygiene is the major theme that we are focusing on, that how awareness is the only key. In these kinds of crimes and frauds and problems we're dealing with, nothing can safeguard except the right, authentic information and awareness. If we are not aware, nobody can save us. Then certain kind of best practices are there for a cyber hygiene, right? That we should change our passwords periodically and use very smartly, right? Then two-factor authentication has to be there and authentic software has to be there, right? I'll give you another example of authentic software. Recently, somebody said, I don't know, आपके यहाँ भी होगा, सभी जगह आजकल है that geotag, we use geotagged photographs, right? So there's so many softwares for that. So many apps are there. उनमें बहुत सारों पे ad run करता है, right? So then you may click something and something keeps happening out there. So I don't know. How do you identify authentic software? So unless you quickly go through who is the developer of the software, आजकल तो ये सारी information मिल जाती है, right? And then you decide that, okay, is this software which is worth using or not? Similarly, especially in case of banking applications, in case of insurance applications, in case of any trading applications, in case of any demat account opening applications, right? In all of those, you must more specifically make use of them. All right. Then the third advice is, of course, it's a blanket advice for everyone. Don't trust anything. Right? Verify, scrutinize everything that is there on your mobile phone or digital devices. And then report immediately. Because if you think that, oh, लोग क्या सोचेंगे, मेरे साथ ऐसा हो गया, मैं तो इतना पढ़ा लिखा हूँ, मैं तो इतनी पढ़ी लिखी हूँ, मैं प्रोफेसर हूँ, मैं तो I may be somebody. Please understand, if you see the data, these things are happening with everybody. इससे आपकी मेरी पढ़ाई का, हमारे इंटेलिजेंस का, हमारी डिग्रीज का कोई लेना देना नहीं है. Even the retired or even the serving IPS to IAS to ministers to what is a business professionals to professors to lawyers to judges, everyone is getting caught, right? So do not engage into that kind of emotional feeling कि एक दूसरे कि हम शर्म के मारे बोलेंगे नहीं कि हम अरे कोई क्या सोचेगा, जिसको जो सोचना है सोचेगा. Safeguard yourself. All right, so that's more important. Then of course, the empowering of a community is the widening in the net, which is required. And unless we understand things, then how can we go and tell anybody outside? So these are some of the important points I thought I should refer to. So thank you on this, and please let me know if there's anything I can offer in terms of answering. I'll take the presentation down.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful and enriching session. I'm sure from all my colleagues that we have gained valuable knowledge about protecting ourselves in this digital world. And we truly appreciate you taking the time to guide us and share such meaningful insights.
Right, I can see there are a few questions.
Yes, sir. The Q&A session would be there.
Yeah, I can see some of the questions already there. That SOP for filing official complaint, as I just took you through, right, with regard to the cybercrime cell or the police station. So the SOP is simple, that immediately when you detect or you get to know that there's something that has happened, so use the helpline number or reach out to the cyber police stations or any police station also nearby. They will guide you through, right? So important is that you should immediately reach out to the police stations or the cyber cells or even the toll-free numbers. right? So after that, you need to lodge with all meticulous detail to be shared. What happened, what amount, who called, appearingly to be whatever, if you have a mobile number, email ID, whatever information is there. So see, one of the important things with regard to making a complaint is you should give all necessary information. Do not hide. Because now something that is supposed to happen has happened already. Right? Can you do anything? The answer is no. Right. So now you can only ensure that the crime which has happened and you are able to get a recovery out of it. Right. So that's why do not fall for these things ki kaun kya sochega. Okay. Then accidental sharing of illegal content grant a person immunity from prosecution. To be honest, technically no, because in law we say ignorance of law is no excuse. Right? So uska ek simple formula hai. When you ask me accidental sharing of illegal content, then you must always remember that whatever information you're sharing or action that you're doing, will it affect somebody adversely or it has a chance of affecting somebody adversely? If you are able to get the answer yes, then I think you will get the clear indication that you should not go down that road. Simple. Right? Then what are the main elements that must be proven to establish a cybercrime as per law in India? As I just said, entire what you say the paperwork drill, the history drill, that how the crime took place, all kind of evidences, screenshots, pictures, videos, everything you need to keep. Now, how to prove is something which is going to rest with the prosecution. You don't have to worry on that. Right? Because then you enter into a very dense legal debate. How do we prove intention of an accused, somebody who wanted to commit a crime? If you would see a news report of, I think just last night, yesterday night only I was seeing on NDTV, some, I think, close to 2 CR online fraud money, which is gone. And there are a lot of accused people, I think, shayad se probably 2 dozen. They arrested in Odisha and they were running a racket. Kal raat ki news NDTV pe, right? So now they're investigating that how they were operating this, who was behind this, how they were calling people, kitna paisa kis kis ke account se shayad nikala hoga, right? So all of that is something which is resting on the prosecution, right? And I think, yeah, Taki, you have answered some of them already with regard to data protection board. They can go to consumer court. All right. Anything else? Use of AI by cyber criminals. See, you are computer science students and going to be professionals soon. So you will agree that AI is only augmenting or giving rise to the cyber crimes, right? Because, for example, deepfakes, for example, through creating your false identity through the use of AI, right? You're not able to make out sometimes a difference. For all of these things, AI is actually adding fuel to the fire in one way or the other. So this is, I think, being used very smartly. by the cyber criminals, and also for a reason, because in the name of AI, what is happening these days, you all will agree, uh, we want to be seen as AI users, right? And somebody tells us about anything about AI, we want to believe. क्योंकि हमें हमें आजकल लगता है कि हम बुद्धू नजर आएंगे अगर हमें कुछ नहीं पता, तो कोई कुछ भी anybody somebody is telling us, we will buy that out, right? Otherwise हमें we will be falling facing what is called as FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, so losing out something. So that is again a problem. So one important aspect at your level, since this session exclusively for the students, is, let me tell you, सबसे बड़ी problem amongst the age group of youth and also the students is the false competition that at the student level you get into with one another. And that false competition of impressing each other or leaving somebody behind and finding a quick job elsewhere, right? So these things actually are main culprits of making us emotionally, psychologically very vulnerable for anybody to actually make use of our weakness. So I would suggest and recommend, please go easy on your lives. Even when you are active user of social media, then please use that basic cyber hygiene of changing your passwords frequently, going and reviewing your privacy settings properly, timely, so that ऐसा नहीं हो कि आपने जो information दी है हर कोई देख पा रहा है, हर कोई आके आपसे engage कर पा रहा है. Don't do that, right? उसका एक purpose है, only limited to that particular purpose. So I think probably that's it, Dr. Sugandha and Arnav. I don't know.
Thank you, sir, for
If
addressing all the
offline,
questions.
it may also be your lunchtime. So I don't know. Should you be staying on the call for that late?
No,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you so much for answering all the questions with such clarity and patience. We truly appreciate your time and insights. And before we move forward, we have something exciting lined up for all of you. UPS CSI is proud to present the teaser for Hackathon 9.0, our flagship technical event scheduled for March 2026, bringing together innovative minds to solve real-world challenges. So let's take a quick look what's coming our way.
Arnav, I'm not able to hear the music if there's any music there.
No, sir, there's no music.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for a patient hearing. I hope it was not too dense from a legal point of view for you non-law students and colleagues and friends. Looking forward to helping you in whichever way possible. And main idea is I've given you, apart from these inputs, the key points, how to make your department stand out, right? Within UPS, take a lead on the entire cyber debate and let people know that US computer science professionals actually care for the cyber hygiene and understand the standards. Or maybe you should come out with one standard handbook, right? And I'm telling you for a reason. See, law students they keep doing this. I know because I'm a law professor, right? But I want other departments to also do or perform equally well, right? So that's a general takeaway or a thought for you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mudit, Dr. Suranda, Arnav.
Thank you, sir. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge Ms. Shubhi Sharma, Student Branch Coordinator of UPS CSI. This event would not have been possible without her vision, dedication, and continuous efforts behind the scene. Unfortunately, due to medical emergency, she is unable to be present with us today. But I would like to invite Mr. Mudit Singh Bora, Associate Head of UPS CSI Events Department, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Arnav. Good afternoon, everyone. As we come to the close of this highly insightful virtual cyber hygiene conclave, it's my pleasure to propose a vote of thanks on the behalf of UPS CSI student chapter. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Professor Nachiketan Mittal sir, and Registered Professor at National Law University, Tripura. Sir, your deep insight of the cyber hygiene and legal foundation, cyber conduct in India, the information about Technology Act 2000, DPDP Act 2023 have truly enriched us. Your explanation of student-specific cyber risk, digital footprinting, responsibility, identity protection, and national crime mechanism help us a lot. We are deeply thankful for the clarity and perspective of you shared with us today. I would also like extend our heartfelt thanks to Data Privacy Bharat Center of the school and the School of Computer Science UPS for this collaboration and support of organizing this conclave. We also thank Paki Garg ma'am, heading World Cybersecurity Forum, who has been active enabler of this session. A special note of appreciation for our respected faculty members and the department of the authorities for the encouragement of the guidance throughout the planning of this event. I would also like to acknowledge the efforts of organizing my teammates and organizing team, student volunteer who are doing very hard work behind the scene for the smooth execution of the today's event. And lastly, I thank all the participants for their present and active engagement. Your participation reflects our commitment to becoming responsible digital citizens and future tech professionals. Let us carry forward today's learning and the practice cyber hygiene is just not a technical requirement, but as a legal and ethical professional responsibility too. With this, we conclude today's session. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mudit. Before we conclude the final closing, I would also like to invite Ms. Pakigar, co-founder of World Security Forum, to share her thoughts.
Thank you very much, Arnav. Thanks, Mudit. And of course, a big thanks to the one and only, my very dearest friend, Dr. Sugandha Sharma. I'm extremely grateful because I only proposed her the idea that we wanted to do this virtual conclave, and she immediately agreed, for which I'm extremely grateful to her. She didn't even take a lot of time to get it processed. She get it done even during my holidays also, and she has been a constant support since very start. I have been known her since long now. I have never met her in person, although in these years, which I'm definitely missing on. But this is something I totally appreciate about her, that she already have a vision. She always try to talk about each and every cybersecurity things. We discuss something. We discuss about how the privacy goes, and then because I was scrolling our messages, so I was just checking that we had a prior discussion, which was always been fruitful because people like her is something which is a red rose in your kitty. I would rather say that. It's genuinely not something which I'm appraising, but this is what I genuinely feel about her. And I'm extremely grateful to the entire organizing committee, be it faculty or the students, all have been a great support, very well coordination, very well professionalism, what I have felt so far. Otherwise, we do a lot of events, so I do understand that there are hicks and bugs. But this was entirely a very good call in that thing. Now I extend my warm welcome to my business partner, my co-founder, and a great friend of mine, Professor Dr. Nachiketa Mittal. He was also skeptical and he don't want to take the session. He wanted me to take it up as usual because he thinks that I have a better clarity on the thoughts. But I am extremely grateful that he, in spite of being a busy person, in spite of having a lot responsibilities professionally and personally, he has been able to deliver such a beautiful lecture, which was definitely be helpful, I'm sure, for every one of us. Once the session closes, we will send you the feedback. I would request everyone to genuinely share our feedback that you will be receiving on the emails, so that it will eventually help us in making our sessions more curated as per your requirement, as per your choices. And as Arnav has already told you about the purpose for the Data Privacy Bharat Center, and it's a public initiative not just by the World Cybersecurity Forum, but the Ketas Education Foundation, which is a not-for-profit organization and has been closely working in regard to the education since quite a long. They have set up in their practices in the COVID-19, and since then they have been pretty active in this domain. So in the upcoming month of March, that is from the 14th March onwards, World Cybersecurity Forum is already throwing a workshop, which will definitely be discussing about the practical nuances of the cyber laws, where we are going to learn how we can easily draft the cybercrime complaint. It's not directly for the law students, but it's for everyone who wishes to learn, because we are going to tell each and everything in depth, be it cyber laws. We are going to discuss about the online branding, the IP, the AI governance part. Alongside, we are also going to talk about the privacy and some of the part of the digital forensics. And we will definitely be joined by some of the famous industry experts and some of the professors. So I would really request, if anyone is interested, please feel free to go to the website, and there you can check more about it in detail, and then you can definitely enjoy and enroll for it. So I thank you all. And if any one of you wishes to be the part of Data Privacy Bharat Center, we are definitely open for the volunteership. So you can come us and join us. We discuss it, how you can contribute, and then definitely we'll take it up. So thank you very much. And I'm also dropping you this link if in case you wishes to be the part of the call for members for the Data Privacy Bharat Center. Please note, as it's a Section 8 initiative, so there will be no charges for that. It's definitely free of cost, because our purpose is pretty much clear, that we wanted to raise that level of awareness in the society. And of course, you as a student, you are the first line or the primary defense that we are looking forward to create. So please feel free to visit the provided link, fill the form which says join as executive members, and the team will review your applications and we'll get back to you. So once again, a very thank you to every one of you who joined us on this Sunday afternoon. Over to you, Arnav. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, sir, DPBC, our respected dignitaries, faculty members, and all the participants for making this session a success. Let us commit to practicing responsible digital behavior and spreading awareness among our peers. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.